So, if you don't at least co write or co produce your own music, you aren't authentic. Ergo, you're not an artist, just a poser. In fact, many fans think that the reason BTS became so successful globally was their control over their music and creatives. But there are some groups, second gen, third gen, fourth gen, fifth gen, that are also writing their own music, but aren't getting mainstream global success. At least not yet. So, is it really authenticity that's the key to BTS's success? If it isn't, then what is it? And what can other groups do to become successful globally, both on a commercial and critical level?
So this is not just about the commercial success of BTS, but also about the critical success of BTS. I think everyone knows just how much they grew as songwriters and as artists in general. If you look at their songs, the way they write, their musicality from the beginning up to the latter part of their careers is so impressive because they really made it a point to produce and create something different every release. Now, a lot of people think that it is because they are writing their own songs. I think it is part of it because they are directly involved in the production and the writing of their own songs. They control the creative direction. But I also think it is more than that because there are a lot of other artists out there that are contributing to the development of their creatives, and they are nowhere near the success of BTS, both in the critical and commercial level. So this video is about that. I just want to look into what is it really beyond the authenticity of BTS that allowed them to become this successful commercially and critically. Okay, if you end up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up. Of course, share the video if you can, and subscribe and hit that notification button. I think I crossed the 25,000 mark yesterday or today. Thank you for all of your support. I really appreciate it. Now let's go back to the video.
But first, let's define authenticity. At the very least, co-creating your own material is definitely a sign of authenticity for a lot of people. Unfortunately, many K-pop artists actually contribute to their songs, music videos, and other parts of their creatives. BTS isn't the only K-pop group that contributes to their own creatives. Big Bang was known for participating in the creation of their songs, G-Idol, Twice, Les Seraphim, and many others. But it is not just about contributing, but contributing significantly. That's when the list becomes shorter. While many idols are credited as songwriters or lyricists, very few actually influence the overall direction, and fewer are the ones who drive the creative direction. There's BTS, of course, Stray Kids, and G-Idol. Many K-pop idols, however, once they go solo, have a little bit more control, like the members of Mamamoo, members of GOT7, and others. What they write about is also a factor for some people. Some fans feel that it has to be their own story, their own experiences, and their own struggles. Otherwise, it's hypocritical. These two are certainly good indicators, but they are not ultimate signs of authenticity. Let's take Michael Jackson, the king of pop, as an example. One of Jackson's biggest, if not the biggest hit, is Thriller. It isn't autobiographical, unless Jackson is a secret zombie, but the song is undoubtedly the one song that changed the trajectory of pop music. There are also songwriters who tell stories not necessarily theirs, just like scriptwriters can create characters and create situations to put it into a narrative. There are some songwriters who can take someone else's story or make one up altogether. According to Paul McCartney, one of the Beatles' songs, Blackbird, is actually about black women. He isn't a woman, certainly not black, but he wrote about a social issue, not his own story. But you can't say that song is not Paul McCartney authentic. But that being said, you also don't have to write a song for it to be fully authentic. Let's go back to Michael Jackson. Jackson is known as the maestro of his creatives, from song production to performances. He has written some of his greatest hits like Billie Jean and Beat It. Again, let's go back to his song Thriller. It was actually written by a British songwriter, Rod Templeton. However, its very first version was actually titled Starlight. This is the original version. Jackson asked Templeton to make some changes, and Thriller is what came out of it. Templeton is credited as the solo songwriter, but there is no doubt in anyone's mind that Thriller is Michael Jackson's song, and it wouldn't be the Thriller we know today without Michael Jackson's direction. That's what it boils down to. If you have critical and significant contribution to the creation of the song, that is still undoubtedly authentic. Now, the next question is, how do we determine authenticity? Recently, a songwriter has been going viral on TikTok as she is calling out popular singers from Beyonce to Zendaya for taking credit on songs they didn't have a hand on writing. Even before she went viral, it's a known practice in the industry. A lot of singers get songwriting credit on songs given to them. So, looking at songwriting credits is actually not enough. One way is for an artist to talk about the songwriting process or creative development. That is one way for fans to determine how much an artist participated in the development of their songs or their creatives. This is one of the critical ways BTS actually established their control over their own creatives. Early in their career, they personally discussed the creative processes and lyrical and musical analysis of their songs with their fans. But it's even more than that. They weren't simply establishing their ownership over their songs. From Suga's review to RM's live and their eventual documentaries for their solo and group projects, each member engaged armies on actual critical discussions rather than just superficial talks. It was an invitation for armies to understand them better as artists. They weren't just selling armies a product. They went out of their way to make sure armies understand what they were buying from their perspective. And this is over and above their efforts to encourage fans to interpret the music using their own sensibilities and experiences through music videos, further live discussions, and others. It is the utmost sign and act of respect towards their fans. They were treating their fans as equals. And this is what's lacking with many artists of today. They are unable to stand behind their songs, and even those who co-create their songs, they rarely engage their fans on an intellectual level. Outside of probably Stray Kids, few go out of their way to converse with their fans about their songs, the meaning behind the lyrics and the beats and the melodies and the process of creating it. However, I do have a confession. I think BTS has an unfair advantage in this regard. Each member isn't just capable of creating their own music, each member is also articulate. Despite their apparent microphone allergy, they are more than capable when they have to be the ones to do the talking. And they spit substance with the wisdom of 1,000 lives. Their brains should be studied, I swear to God. I'm not saying that artists are to be forced to talk about their processes. No one should be forced to do something they don't want to do. And some artists simply prefer to let their work speak for themselves. There's nothing innately bad about it. But it doesn't change the fact that fans are changing and their expectations, consumption habits, and interests are evolving. Years ago, being presented with a song was enough. It is still enough for some, but times, technology, and culture are changing. As everything becomes accessible, consumers don't just want the end product, they want to know how these products are actually created. And that applies to their art too. Another way to determine authenticity is evolution and growth. Everyone evolves, everyone changes as life happens. And that should reflect on their art. If they sing the same songs, they are either superficial as people or they're being fed the songs and they just don't care about anything and they're just singing it. No musical evolution is a sure sign of the lack of authenticity. But there are a lot of artists who create art based on their own story. But not everyone achieves mainstream success. So at the end of the day, whatever it is that you present has to still resonate with the audience. And the reverse is true. There is a lot of music that sounds just like the next song playing on the radio but is successful because it speaks to the audience. BTS managed to write their own story and translate it to a universal sentiment. They were brave enough to articulate taboo issues and smart enough to make it a personal struggle rather than a social concern. So it feels a little warmer, more personal. There are some artists right now that I really truly respect for their control over their own creatives and for covering some important sentiments and issues like G Idol. I've said this once and I'll say it again. As of now, no other girl group can hold a candle against G Idol. But their songs don't resonate with me. It does with a lot of fans, obviously, they are so successful. It just doesn't resonate to me. Maybe I'm too old for them, I don't know, I'm not sure. But it goes to show how an artist can have everything done right. But if the song doesn't hit someone, then it is what it is. But it's not just the lyrics and the message, it's also about the music and the performances. I don't take pleasure in watching BTS literally put their limbs on the line in every performance. I don't like seeing them having to need oxygen after a performance, but I respect it. I spend my hard earned cash to watch them perform. I respect that they are aware of that and that they understand that, and they want to make sure that people like me, who spend our hard earned cash, actually get what we pay for. It may be their 100th performance, but it could be someone's first and last time to see them. That is simply how they respect their audience and their craft. And then there are the beats and the melodies. Those play a very important part, especially for markets that don't speak their language. We wouldn't necessarily understand right away what it is that they are singing, so the first thing that will appeal would be the beats and the melodies. You can talk of the most beautifully complex sentiments, but if the melody sucks. All this said, I do have a question. I wonder whether or not it's actually reasonable for me to expect all of this from anybody else. After all, how many groups or artists have the appetite or even interest to take their fans into a creative or intellectual discourse? How many groups or artists are willing to risk their health to be able to perform? How many artists or groups can sustain their work ethic and commitment to their art and their fans this long? Maybe BTS spoiled me too much. And if I keep my standards high, I will just keep on disappointing myself.
In summary, authenticity is definitely the foundation of BTS's success commercially and critically, and their depth. But I don't think that ends there. Definitely their commitment to their fans is a huge factor. Their commitment to start and sustain a discourse about their own creatives, about their processes, that actually elevated, through that they elevated their fans, they elevated armies to become their equals, not just treat them as crazy fans or cash cows. They treated armies as equals, which allowed them to continue going higher and higher in terms of their creative pursuits, because they know their fans are going to continue relating to them, right? Because they bring their fans with them instead of going farther and just leaving their fans behind. The other thing is their commitment to performance, the excellence in their performance. Injuries be damned, but they always make it a point to do their best, and I think that is a sign of respect towards their craft. You're never ever going to short sell something that you respect. That is a sign of respect to their craft, a sign of respect to themselves and to armies. And then the other aspect of it is really that they were the genius behind articulating critical issues and important emotions and taboos, basically, and actually translate them into something more personal. So it's not just about writing, but they actually it's not just about writing their own songs, but actually writing them well and writing them to a level that will be understood by as many people as possible. I am very curious though to know who's your favorite outside of BTS. Like, is there any, not even favorite, but like a group that you respect, that you think they're, even if their songs don't resonate with you, who are the groups that you think they have it, like they have the potential to actually take it there, they have the potential to be establishing and starting a discourse with their fans? Let me know in the comment section below. No fighting, okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. If you ended up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up. Of course, hit that notification button and subscribe to the channel, and share the video if you can. I think I said this in the intro, but I think I crossed 25,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you. I don't have any plans of stopping. I still enjoy doing this, so I'll continue doing this, and I hope that you will continue being with me in this journey. If you have any requests, please leave them in the comment section below, any topic that you want me to cover. And thank you to everyone who's sending their suggestions. I am going to, if I say that I will do it, I'll do those episodes. Okay, thank you so much.